So the Labour Party are in government, and they've gone from what Rupert Lowe calls a landslip, loveless victory at the last election, where they got fewer votes than Jeremy Corbyn did in 2019, but a larger majority because the Conservative vote collapsed. They have gone from about 30% in the polls to 15%. They're now fourth in the polls. They're behind the Green, or they're equal with the Green Party. And the Green Party is now openly the party of Islamo-communism. It's led by Zach Polanski, a man who purposely changed his name to sound more Jewish, probably to give himself cover when he spreads, frankly, pro-Islamic, very conspicuously Israel-obsessed politics. And it's co-led by Mothin Ali, who was a councillor who won in May of last year, is now deputy leader of the Green Party. And when he won, he shouted, Allahu Akbar, this is for Gaza. So nakedly sectarian politics are improving. They're increasing in the polls over Labour. Labour support has collapsed because they've tried to serve all masters, be the umpires between the hostile multicultural communities they've imported and the left behind, forgotten, indigenous British majority, who are now turning towards reform. The Conservative vote has collapsed for multiple reasons. One, because it's almost impossible to position yourself as the people who are credible to fix the problems that you caused after 14 years in government. The Conservatives consistently betrayed the country with successive leaders, other than Liz Truss, who they cooed out after 40 days to appease the financial markets, who themselves had horrifically mismanaged the debt and pension funds in this country. But the rest of the Conservatives leaders, Rishi Sunak, Boris Johnson, Theresa May, David Cameron, created a vast bureaucracy that entrenched multiculturalism as the politics of the day in Britain. They threw open the borders for mass migration, particularly to the third world after Brexit. Anytime there was an Islamic terror attack, the Home Office unit, RICU, that's the Research, Information and Communications unit, told the public, don't look back in anger, basically, don't blame us and the imported communities who disproportionately produce terrorists for this violence. And they've mismanaged the economy, they've waged net zero, they've sabotaged our energy security, they've depleted our armed forces down to the lowest level of reserves since the Napoleonic Wars, on and on and on and on. And so the Conservative Party has now collapsed. And rather than installing Robert Jenrick as leader, who's quite popular actually on social media, who is leading a renegade group of Conservatives like Katie Lamb and Nick Timothy to question the immigration orthodoxy of the last few years, to say we want to remove indefinite leave to remain, say we want mass deportations of all illegal immigrants, and we want to send lots of legal migrants that impose a cultural and economic cost on our country home. Rather than choose him, they chose Kemi Badenoch, who has parroted all of the tired liberal talking points in uninspiring fashion for the last few years, who had a lot of assistance getting to become a cabinet minister and become a sort of household name for repudiating the Black Lives Matter cultural revolution in 2020, but who has been unimpressive since elected leader, and is a first-generation immigrant who, in her speech in 2018, called for the removal of caps on student and study visas. And so in a time of immigration being the most salient issue in British politics, electing a first-generation immigrant leader who personally lobbied for more immigration is suicide, and I don't think she's going to stay there for very long if the Conservative Party are sensible. But I don't see how they're going to recover, and they're on the brink of chopping up the furniture in the Carlton Club of firewood.